Hey there everyone, it's Snoo here. A bright and beautiful day for some insane level juicing. Your favorite streamer has been hard at work preparing for the 1000 Crimson Temple runs of a more or less semi-juicing strategy. I have been ironing out, playtesting a variety of different strategies, juicing levels, and I think I've narrowed it down to what I want to do. And I'm basically ready to start the 1000 Crimson Temple runs, basically the apothecary hunting strategy. However, before doing that, it had occurred to me that I've not yet done any sort of insane level juicing strategy this league. I never go a league without doing it at least once. Can't think of a better place to do it than for this to be a sort of preliminary kickoff to the 1000 Crimson Temple maps. Now, I'm sure as hell not going to do that many insanely juiced maps. I think I'll stick with 50. I did 50 last league. It felt pretty nice. I'm going to do 50 this league. I've already done 16 with this strategy, verified that it's pretty nice, and I got a lot to talk to you about for this strategy, so apologies in advance. The intro will be longer than usual. You always have the timestamps you can take a look at. Skip to the highlights, skip to the conclusion, whatever you like. Skip to the gambling portion if that's your cup of tea. Right here in the dump tab, I have a full set of beautiful 8-mod corrupted, all with beyond, and with a variety of different dangerous levels. However, I don't really have to be concerned about what mods roll on here, especially because I'm not doing Wandering Path for this farm. I did think about it for a hot second, debating with myself whether I would want to do a Wandering Path strategy with this farm. Decided against it though for a variety of reasons we'll get into. But yeah, this is all the maps here. We got quadruple winged scarabs, and this time I'm going to go divination, obviously. Abyss. Abyss is basically the only no-brainer juice thing you should do if you're doing insane levels of juicing. It's because Abyss scales arguably better than any other league mechanic in terms of juicing once you do it at the absolute highest top-end expense or investment cost. Just take a look at the scaling on the scarabs alone. Scales up the mechanic tremendously with each scarab increment. Harbinger decided to do this was mainly on account of not being able to afford a sextant in any way. Harbingers don't require a sextant to be useful. And then Breach, and the main reason I chose Breach is one of the reasons I didn't choose Wandering Path, because Breach has that terrific notable. Even though it's not all that great on Crimson Temple, it's still fabulous at a maximum juicing level with 5 breaches on the map, and it only has a penalty cost of about 3 or 4 Atlas passive points, which was a huge deal for the strategy I'm running. I'm going to be running 2 additional Abysses. Of course, Abyss is the premier juicing league mechanic of this run. Going to be running 8-mod corrupted, not 8-mod, force of habit, 8% elevated beyond, and this is the only truly expensive investment piece of the puzzle here. The elevated beyond the sextant is a whopping 4x a piece. So 16 uses though, but it's still very expensive. A Delhi Mirror Sextant, which is kind of an unorthodox choice. We'll get into why that is. But the Delhi Mirror Sextant is actually a fair bit cheaper than even using a Delhi Mirror on the Atlas crafting bench, surprisingly, at only 40 chaos apiece. We have unique monsters drop corrupted items. This is kind of always the sort of bread and butter, ultra high juicing. If you're going to put as much beyond that you possibly can on the map, you probably want to run this sextant. This sextant, ironically, doesn't actually juice the map up anyway, but you're just trying to pull out a little extra currency on the side doing this. And yeah, like something like 15, 20 6 links are going to drop every map because of that. So all of the sextants and then the Curate Craft Bench fees all combined to a little over 19 exalts in 50 maps. The total cost, let's see what the total investment is. Take a look here. Snapshot. Nearly 90 exalts, I believe. Yeah, 88.4. Well, okay, price is adjusting a little bit here. 88.44 exalts. Yikes. And that's in winged scarabs. And then the currency needed to cover the cost of the sextants, because that's not included in excellence. How much currency do I think I'll be able to make with this strategy? Well, you know, unlike the other insane level juicing, keyword insane because it's kind of stupid for a solo player to juice up a map this much, and if their goal is to make as much currency as possible. But interestingly, I think this league offers a fair bit more potential for it to be a reasonable strategy than in previous leagues. At least at this point in the season, we are in the back end of the league rather. We only have about I don't know, like 5 weeks left maybe. So hopefully I can get those 1,000 maps out of the way. This one is going to take a couple days because each one of these maps is going to take about 15 minutes to do, which is about 4 or 5 times longer than it takes for me to do a sort of faster speed running type of run, which I will be doing in the 1,000 map session. The investment cost is roughly 7 times the amount per map that the more sound, faster juicing strategy that I'll do later on is. So I got to be making a lot more currency back, but there is a winged divination scarab involved, so definitely going to be seeing way more apothecaries per map, if you will. Will it make up for this is what, 7 times more investment cost, 4 or 5 times longer clear times? I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna make up for that. I'll probably get about 3, maybe 4 times is the chance of getting an apothecary that I would normally get, maybe something like that. But if you do the math on it, you see pretty quickly, totally not worth doing this kind of strategy. I do not recommend you do this. Try this at home. Do it if your heart pleases, if you just want to have some fun doing some insane juicing. This is kind of 50-50, doing it for entertainment for you guys, and then the other 50% is because, I don't know, I like juicing up things crazy sometimes. It's fun. It's obviously kind of fun to do it at least once in a league. And this is all about apothecary farming, so that's all obviously pretty exciting, that we're, you know, really fishing for a not quite as rare as you might think divination card. In my opinion, that this divination card should be a lot more rare than it is. But here we go. Let's get into the Atlas passive tree so I can show you what's going on here. So I actually kind of went out of order here, and I showed the investment before the Atlas passive tree. Let me actually switch this over here. Alright, so a great deal of thought went into this. I had to make some sacrifices to squeeze everything in here. I couldn't go strong box, couldn't really afford it. I would have kind of liked to have done that. I dropped Dance of Destruction. I dropped the entire left side blocking mechanisms. I would only block 3 of them anyway. And that saved me a lot of points to not even have to go over there. I am doing Deli Mirror instead of Deli Orbs, which is just kind of my cup of tea thing. You know, I don't have anything against doing Deli Orb, but in my honest opinion, I mean, I've seen firsthand Deli Mirrors spawn way more monsters than Deli Orbs do. So, in terms of pure juicing aspect, it's definitely better. So long as you don't mess up the mirror and the timing. So if you're a fast character, you can clear it in time. I definitely think it's better. The only caveat to that is if you are doing extremely high juicing content, like what I'm doing right now, it could be more lucrative to do the Deli Orbs, because you could do like quintuple skittering orbs. With instead of the Deli Mirror Sextant, I would do the double rewards, faster reward accumulation, Deli rewards. So, I mean, the sheer number of scarabs you would get could perhaps override the investment and be better. But at the very least, I'm quite confident that this strategy will pull more apothecaries out than that would. So that's just a somewhat different farming strategy. I find it to be a little bit more tedious and not as exciting as a Deli Mirror. I prefer the Deli Mirror. Generally speaking, I do have the points in here to help me out. Yes, even in Crimson Temple. I know it's not Tropical Island, Promenade, or whatever, but yeah, it's still fun. It's still fun. Deli Mirror is always fun. Doesn't matter. Even when I'm doing it on Cemetery, I still enjoy it. Still decided to do Shrines. Now, this would be a nice way to recoup some of the points that you might want to use somewhere else if you're not running Shrines. I'm not getting any huge use out of Shrines. I'm not using a Gloom Shrine. I'm not even using Domination. But I will randomly get Domination about 30% of the time because it is going to spawn pretty frequently naturally. And then, oh, thanks for the subscription Prime there, man. Appreciate that. Let's see. We got Abyss is, of course, here. Now, Abyss is wonderful because I only had to devote a grand total of 6 passive points to do good on that. I could get a couple more over here for increased monsters. I just don't have the points to afford it, though. 3 points to get the Breach is super, super nice. Not that many points needed to get into Harbinger, so you can see that part of my decision to choose which league mechanics that I did had a lot to do with what can I do that is going to be the cheapest on points and scarabs and sextant slots, because they're precious, right? Another major reason, the main reason why I ultimately decided not to do Wandering Path is for this notable right here, time dilation. So of course I'm going to be running Alva. I don't really like running Alva all that much anymore these days. However, if I am doing insane juicing content, duh, I'm definitely going to run Alva with this level of juice, so absolutely going to put that on there. Going to do Shaping of the Valley, so instead of running the Deli Mirror on the crafting bench, which actually costs more than this strategy, decided to, and this also greatly helped my decision to steer out of Wandering Paths, that I was going to get a refund, if you will, of 10% quantity, rarity, and pack size. This will still ultimately result in less pack size and quantity that Wandering Path would have given, but only by a marginal amount. We're talking about like 5, 10, maybe 15% pack size at the most. I'm not 100% sure on the math. Another nice thing is I get Shadow of Hunger because I'm doing this strategy, and the altars do have a real impact on this farm, because you got divination cards have a chance to be duplicated, and then you have just raw increases to quantity and rarity on the altars. So getting extra altars is a big deal, and I can very easily speed my way to kill the boss first before I really unlock too many altars. So I can guarantee a lot of premium altars on the map. Definitely got Valley of Darkness on here. I did block what I could over here. I went ahead and left blueprints available, I guess. They're not going to count for the sake of the currency per hour as usual. Logbooks also not going to count. Couldn't even afford to fill up the entire quantity wheel. You know, I did what I could. This is what the tree looks like. You could drop these points here for the quantity wheel. I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. However, in my opinion, having an extra 15% pack size in the incursions probably worth more than 3% quantity across the board. Yeah. Also, I like to use, this does provide a unique opportunity to use Sentinels in a very strategic way with time dilation, increased pack size. Using Sentinels on a high quality incursion is obviously a lot of fun. However, I will say, Sentinel rewards, while the way I've been farming for most of the season, Sentinel rewards have mattered a great amount. They don't matter a whole lot for this farm. They're not a big part of this farm. They're definitely getting, the value of Sentinels getting diluted pretty heavily against just the overall scale of juicing that we're doing here on this farming strategy. And that speaks to great length of just how great Alk and Go strategy styles are this league. They were really good last league. They're even better this league. And I really like the direction the game's going there. It's going in a direction of lower investment, quantity over quality sort of thing. You know, I think we all could appreciate the whole, like, insane beyond Nemesis 4 juicing stuff we were doing in the past. But, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, nobody really wanted to do that kind of farming full time, all the time. And you would feel bad if you weren't pushing it to the absolute max all the time. It's exhausting to do that. It's much more enjoyable, in my opinion, in terms of enduring longevity farming maps. What keeps me most interested throughout the entire season is a bit more relaxing farming strategies, and that's not what we're doing today, not right here, but of course when we get to the 1,000 maps, Crimson, definitely going to be doing that. All right. I think we're about ready to start this. I will be speaking a fair bit on the stream. This is, of course, going to be streamed. You can check the stream, verify all the information there. Probably going to cut this up into 3 different parts. I get 2 of the parts done today. Oh, almost forgot. Yeah, we're running Cloak of Tomer Isley, if that's how you say it. I have been working my loot filter to this. Having a little bit of issues right now with the loot filter. I can, of course, share it with you guys. You guys can download my loot filter. and it'll be linked in the description below. However, you cannot, at the very time of me recording this, you cannot download a preset which would enable you to edit it into your own filter. I'm having some kind of technical difficulties with it, something about editing on the simulacrum, or the editing on the simulation tab, or some weird error I'm getting whenever I try to save my filter into a preset and then, you know, simplify it and everything. It's just not letting me save it for some weird reason. I'm trying to work that out. Hopefully we'll get that worked out and then I can bring that to you, and I will make a special video for that if and when I can do that, because even though we're towards the end of the season, we're not really the end of the season, but towards the end of the season, this cloak may be here to stay. You know, if recombinators do make it into the core game, this may be the body armor to use for any magic finder for like from here to who knows when. So it's good to get your mind wrapped around it now. I think there's a decent chance this chest is going to be relevant in seasons or leagues to come. Yeah, gear, you can check out the gear. I'm not going to go over the gear too crazy, but it's getting pretty insane. The gems getting pretty crazy. I'm now using a level 5 Enlighten. I have switched out of or tinkered with the low life support stuff. Really loving how it works now. I can honestly run like anything I want now. It was brought to my attention that my inspiration support wasn't getting utilized because I had free mana cost, and I fixed that, so now I have 1 mana cost. And then you can see that cost me 17 life to shoot arrows. When I have a lot of attack speed via headhunter buffs and all that jazz, I can basically force my life pool to hover here, and I get all the credit of the divination distillate. And then it even gives me a little bit of mana. If for some crazy reason I'm starting to run out of mana, which is making it so that I'm basically immune to any kind of reflect mods. It never happens. There's really no map mods that are all that dangerous, except maybe reduced effect of auras, minus max res, maybe. But I can run everything, any combination mods. Works out nicely. Still got like 300 life per second. Still got a ton of life leech. Still got 10 life on hit. 1500 life, or 3k life. I mean, you know, the way it works. 3k life may seem like a tiny amount, but and I'm not even running determination. But aside from the initial moment of getting any headhunter buffs, I'm really tanky as hell. Like, it's not an issue at all. And this build currently sporting 65 quantity of items found, and oh my god, 202 projectile speed. And not much rarity though. Not much rarity. Just here from the Alchemist Gold Flask. And that. Yeah, let's see how much rarity I got. Oh, that's weird. It's hard to check. Yeah, I think I can check it now. Hold on one second. Okay, 85%. 85% rarity, 65% quantity. And I think we are basically ready to do this. Going to be running Sentinels, Sentinel tree, in case you want to look at it. I haven't really changed it. I have tried to tinker with this a little bit, like switching over. Oh, yeah, by the way, I discovered that for anyone who's interested in the cloak, this Sentinel notable does not work. So it's still, when it upgrades Sentinels from normal to magic, it leaves them unidentified because they didn't technically drop magic, I guess. So it's completely useless, in my opinion. Unless for some reason you wanted to pick up unidentified ones, which you wouldn't want to do because that defeats the whole purpose of wearing this cloak. So that is my Sentinel tree. It's the one I recommend. Feels pretty nice. The only thing I would like to change, I would really like to get this now. I think I'd definitely like to get Stalker Sentinels do not empower normal rarity of enemies. But I would absolutely have to drop. Rewards are more likely to be less common. I don't like that. I like the power of Pandemonium Sentinels more than Stalker Sentinels anyway, with how I farm. So yeah, that's just it. We're going to be leveling Awaken Enhanced supports. They'll each count for 1x apiece. Also going to be leveling or picking up Breach Rings. I'm actually going to count Grasping Mails at 2x apiece now. If you go on trade, you'll see that a 100% global defense Grasping Mails at least 15x right now. Also, the specialized Dex mod also worth about that much as well. So they are quite valuable. Now, they're so valuable that, I mean, just farming breach is actually not even that bad of an idea. Building breach back into your farming strategy. I'll be leveling awakened elemental damage with attack supports. They'll count as 1x apiece if I manage to fully level those. But yeah, gems basically all 1x apiece. Grasping mails 2x apiece. I will also be counting, in some cases, some very unique items like exalters, amulets. I will count at. Oh yeah, I hadn't actually fully decided that. I'm probably just going to count these all things at 1x apiece. So there are a few items that are magic and that are straight up worth at least 1x. To give you a good example, here's an example of one right here. Okay, so Magister's Opal Scepter. That's worth at least 1x. Magister Scepters in general, basically worth 1x. Exalter's Amulets. You know, these are clean. These are magic, uncorrupted, clean bases. They are worth... this is worth actually like 2 or 3x. You have +2 projectile bows, also worth at least 1x. So there are a few specialized items that are clearly worth 1x. If you watch my stream, you're going to see some items drop that I have deliberately altered my loot filter to pick up. Basically, I'm not going to be picking up anything as a result of this cloak unless it's worth at least 50 chaos. So that is the preset I would like to give you. So if you use my loot filter, you're not going to see anything major dropping from this. It is very strict even still. You're not going to really see anything that's worth less than 50 chaos, because in my experience, anything worth like less than 20 or 30 chaos is not really a reliable sale. Like you're just kind of begging somebody to take it off your hands at that point. But there is a market for this stuff, and things that are, if it's worth enough, if it passes a certain threshold, the market is active on it, and there are people actually buying them on a fairly regular basis. Yeah, okay. So that was the extra intro for you. Let's get into this here. I gotta reset the filter, and we're about to kick off this run. Welcome to any viewers out there tuning in right now. Sure, there'll be people trickling in here. Oh boy. It's always exciting here, doing this crazy amount of juice. I've had a habit of forgetting to put Alva into my map device. I'll probably forget to do that a couple times, actually. I always tend to forget to do that. Right, there she is. Fortune favors the brave. And that is what it looks like. Where it go? Okay, as far as timing the runs, it took me about 14-15 minutes per run on average. We'll see what it looks like as we go through. Well, that's awkward. I have to be really careful with the deli mirror if I don't overextend, go too fast. Try not to trigger any mechanics. They'll actually pause the mirror. It creates a problem where I can't actually go all the way to the boss room without going past the mirror. So once I get to the boss room, and sometimes there's a mechanic in here, just unfortunately, the breach is a pretty awful location for this. I get to see all kinds of items drop. I get to see a lot of sentinels now, because I not only see the corrupted sentinels that drop naturally, but I also get to see magic sentinels. So I get like just way over sustained on the sentinels. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Now I try to run straight back. I don't want to trigger anything too much. I know that the deli mirror pauses on expedition. Not exactly farming expedition here, but I'm obviously not gonna deny it. And it does actually do wonders for pausing the mirror. So this mirror is still totally fresh here on the back end. It's wonderful to have. Got an Alva up here in the front, which I'll have to do early on. I'm kind of just staying up in the front of the mirror here. I want to make sure I get all the value out of this. You know, definitely, if you're gonna run a map like this, you don't want to be messing around. You want to actually get everything. Almost got a little careless there with that breach, actually. It looks like we're good. Okay, I'm going to see if this is a high value alva. I'm actually not 100% sure, so I'll use one sentinel in here. You can see I'm able to just run through everything. It just, nothing matters at 39 headhunter buffs with the headhunter power levels that it is right now. I know there have been some of you who have, you know, asked me to be on the hush hush with the talking about headhunter power. Yeah, I'm sorry, but my true feelings are what they are. I wish it was like not even half as powerful as it is right now. It's just absolutely stupid how strong it is. It does not deserve to be. I mean, look at this. I'm not even attacking anything. It's just dumb. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even attacking anything. So that I just blew 2 sentinels worth and didn't kill any monsters because the timer ran out. Yeah, don't do that. Totally forgot about that. That's actually the first time that's happened. I saw, okay, actually this was, hold up a second here. This is a specialized item that I have in here. So this is I think the top end 2-handed sword base, and I actually went ahead and made it show up on the filter for the tier 1 flat fizz damage. I don't think it's actually that big of a find. Definitely we're not going to count it in the end. Yeah, but anyway, what I was saying, so you just saw me absolutely wasted. I not only wasted an entire incursion, I actually wasted 2 sentinel usages in that entire incursion. And I actually thought I killed something, but I apparently didn't kill anything in there. So that was a massive, massive blunder on my end. Fortunately, not nearly as big of a blunder as just straight up forgetting to put Alva into the map. So I'm not terribly upset with myself, but I hope to not repeat that mistake again, and that's definitely something to learn from right there. So yeah, so immortal that I can just run through and get like all the sentinel empowerments on the magic and rare monsters from the incursion. But you can't forget to kill anything for like 10 seconds straight when you go in, because that means it's just going to dissipate. Well, haven't seen any major drops yet. You can see these abysses are actually being pretty kind to me right now. Sometimes they haven't, yeah, actually right here. Okay, so here we see one being stupid. I was about to say, I haven't seen any of them be too stupid to me yet. I really am not a big fan of farming Abyss. You have to babysit it a lot, and especially wrapping around tight corners. When the Abysses release and spawn in corridors where there's not really much room, you'll notice that while it's forced to spawn a certain number of monsters, it can't really spawn them because there's no room to spawn them. They have a tendency to bug out or just take forever to spawn. Really, really annoying. Not a big fan. But I can't contend with just how many monsters and how much stuff drops as a result of Abysses. It is pretty incredible. Well, I got no sentinels to use. It looks like I got another premium incursion here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really paying much attention to the rooms. I mean, you know, the crazy thing is the Alva Chronicle temples are really cheap this league. Even 2 double corruption rooms, like the 2 best rooms you can get, still only worth 1x in this league, which is quite surprising. I think this is about it left. We got like 1 breach and 2 abyss remaining. Oh, I have a harvest to do. Yeah, so I don't really do harvest at all anymore either. Again, I just tend not to find it worth my time. I got myself stuck in abyss. This happens if you stop where the abyss spawns. It's actually really shitty because I'm just losing a bunch of the or almost lost a bunch of the breach there because I got stuck spawning on there. For some reason don't have the assassin mod, or it would have teleported me straight out. Not sure how I don't have that mod on me right now. Okay. Tons of breach rings. My loot filter is not perfect. I still see some weird things like this that I don't really care to see, but anyway, here's one thing that makes Deli mirrors so much better than Deli orbs. So see, the Deli monsters that are down here, they're actually 0 delirium monsters inside a harvest when you're just running Deli orbs. But Deli mirrors just puts I'm not exactly sure how the programming works, but it's perfectly obvious if you ever go into a harvest with the Deli orbs versus Deli mirror, and I don't care if you put 1 orb or 5 orbs on there. There are no delirium monsters down here, or at least so that's what I've experienced multiple times. However, Deli mirror does put monsters in odd places, like at the very, very beginning of the map, like literally behind the starting location, like weird places it'll throw things. If your map has multiple floors, like on the tower map, you know, you zone into the next floor, boom, monsters spawn in your face. That only happens on a Deli mirror, that not on a Deli orb map. So that's kind of what I mean. Those are some clear-cut cases of Deli mirror spawning more monsters than the Deli orbs. Alright, so this map is basically finished. See, that's the result of a bunch of alva loot. Nothing spectacular. You didn't get to see, unfortunately, you didn't get to see a really high value alva explosion on this. Bad luck on top of an exalted orb. Hey. That's why you do alpha.
My mana is gone.
Does tend to produce. I'm not even 100% sure if that was all magic and rare. But anyway, there we go. I suppose that's the first highlight of the maps on map number 4. I think. Fighting all kinds of like merciless dictator rolls like that too. So terrible. I'm gonna lose like 2 full abysses because I got stuck in. Once again with no assassinate, like I'm literally counting on the assassination bug to port me out of these. Okay, because it's stuck on this wall, can't spawn anything. But damn, I got 3 other abysses that are running right now, and that one's gone. This one, they're all gone. All of them. Yeah. That's 7 years bad luck. I feel like I got 100 years bad luck right now. Well, not for good performance, but I did get another big drop. Map number 7, maybe. Ooh, 7 years. I'm excited for a second. Only 7 years. Damn, 4 abysses at the same time. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Can't even walk through there. I have to not get stuck on one of these. Yikes, I could do 5. Yes, do 5? No? I think that expired on its own. Gladiator plate. Enhance support. Not corrupted, actually. I'm dropping gems right now. Gem altar has been triggered. %15 duplicated divination cards. Make it happen. I see that twin apothecary drop. Oh, what's this? Twin enlighten drop. Trolled. Double red star, not actually red star. I mean, it is still like 60 tails. Athlete shattering boots and nullification. Single enlighten. The RNG's against me now. Literally the last major farming session I had, I found like, I think I found more apothecaries than I found enlightens. What the? No. No. Hey, thanks for your content. Discovering YouTube has some strategy. Well, glad you liked it. I was. I was expecting people to not really replicate that strategy because I knew it was like going to be really hard. People pull up. Partially because the nerf to Sentinel, Pandemonium Sentinel Legion interaction, I thought it turned a lot of people off from that kind of strategy. And then second of all, Wandering Path Legion 8-mon corrupted maps is no joke. So it's like doubly difficult. Yeah. Oh yeah, in case you missed an apothecary drop. On map number 15. What? 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 Look at my screen. Look at my screen. Oh God. It's probably gonna be 2 flasks. Ah. Ah. I haven't looked at it yet. Look. You know, there's a decent chance that I would have never even seen that because my eyes just glaze over automatically identified uniques. I don't even read the text. I'm very lucky I actually read that text. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I do actually read it. I don't know. Alright, well, finally found a Mageblood Headhunter, or Unnatural Instinct for that matter. And we're about to find out what this is. How valuable is a +2 flask Mageblood? I'm scared of That has some bangerang corruption on top of like. Oh shit! Here, pick it up. I didn't even look at it. Got the deli mirror. Oh, I lost the deli mirror. No. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I would have lost the deli mirror then. Oh, I still got overall divine orb. Good figure. All right. It is 2 flasks. God. With anger effect. That's so garbage. Oh my god, that's literal. It's like the worst. The worst. Oh man. Fucking. It's funny, like if it had turned rare, I would have never known, huh? Would have never even known I got one. Okay, well. Super ultra juice content gets you Mageblood, I guess. Guys, I guess that's how it works. I'm not really farming apothecary cards. I'm just straight to the source. Merciless Prophecy Wand. That's a huge hit there. That's huge. And it's not corrupted, thank God. That is an actual 1x plus phase. Oh, assassin wrecking me. Oh, what's that? 7 years bad luck. It's been a while since I found one of those, actually. Dictators and oh wow, okay. Dictator. I was getting ready to say Dictator Serpenstein. Nice. That's always a 7 years bad luck. Let's find that on the first map of the 3rd section of the runs. In the harvest. Well, confirmation that it's actually worth going down to do these stupid harvests. Probably the only good thing I'll ever drop down here. There's no way that mirror began moving. That amazingly timed breach. Whoa! Whoa! Well, great. Now my screenshot has competition. I don't know. What am I gonna do? Corrupted Mageblood or a mirror shard? That's the first mirror shard I've ever found in my life, and I honestly can't believe that it took this long to find one, because I farmed a Harbinger like stupid last league. Killed like 10,000 Harbingers, I'd say at least. Wow. I just completely forgotten that those even dropped. Like, I just completely off my radar. Damn. And it's like super valuable this point in the season. I mean, I'd much rather had that drop earlier in the season, but okay. Pretty crazy though. Crazy. Can you believe that freaking shit? Mirror shard and a Mageblood drop in this farming session. How in the frickin' crap? Oh, worth way more now. So nutty. Freaking apothecary dropped out of that. Alva. Wow, this map. This map. Alright, this map is going in the books. That's freaking nuts. What? I'm only like halfway done with this map. I'm absolutely tilting the casino right now, though. If I was in a real casino, there would be the manager would be walking up to me right now and be like, "You got to, bro, you got to get out of here. I don't know what's going on, but you just got to get it. You just have to leave because it's not acceptable. Not acceptable." Oh, red star. What is it? 7 years bad luck. Okay. It's been a little while. Many enlightens later. 7 years bad luck finally coming up again. 7 years bad luck really does seem to be pacing enlightens at a 1-to-2 ratio. I think it's something like 8 7 years bad luck and 15 enlightens, something like that. That's some pretty strong tell about the drop rates. And it's just the general PoE community pretty definitively says do not league start as tornado shot. It's a terrible idea. It's such a weak skill. You should never. It's only reserved for, like, you know, mirror tier builds. You know, crazy scaling. And I kind of proved that's not the case. Basically, what happened there. Hey, finally saw, dude. This is actually only the second amulet I've seen in this entire 50 map session. The first one was corrupted. This one is not. This is the biggest Recombinator base find right here. It is an Exalter's Magic Amulet Clean. And it is worth at least, if you have patience, people will pay at least 3x for it. And it will probably fly off the shelf at 2x. I can sell it within a day or two, posting it at 3x. So. And actually on this base, I can probably sell it more quickly because it's a desirable hybrid base. So that's a really big find. And honestly, I'm a little bit surprised I haven't found more of them. So, I mean, I've only seen 2 of those drop in. And the first one was corrupted, so it's worth a lot less. But I've only seen 2 of them drop in like 45 maps. I have seen some unique, some corrupted rare amulets with +1 all skill gems, and those are obviously pretty good. But they are people will pay the super premium for the clean, uncorrupted base, especially if it's a good base and one that they might actually want on their finished item. Stat has never been so useless as it is right now. It is basically garbage as a stat. And it's actually changed how I gear. Like, I'm not running a rarity support gem in my main 6 even though I could certainly kill stuff even if I had 30% less damage. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I'm not running it because rarity is just so bad that I really don't care. I should honestly think about removing the gold flask, to be completely honest. It's probably just remove it, but I figure I'd go ahead and keep it because we really don't need anything else. And now divines are super crashed because the timeless jewel tool calculators come out. Oh, there's 7 bad years of good luck. Something like that. Is that what it said? 7 years of bad luck. If I can talk right. Welcome everyone to the results portion of the video. 50 long and grueling Crimson Temple maps. I think I regained some appreciation for the faster, less juice strategies of mapping. I definitely think after doing these 50 maps in 4 separate farming stream sessions, I'm looking forward to going back to the more quick in and out, particularly 1 inventory full of loot per map and not 5 or 6 per map. It gets a little bit tiring to get all those divine orbs in and out of the map, but that is part of the big one of the major things that we're farming. Divine orbs. You would think that it might be the biggest thing we're farming for, but here, take a look at all these amazing items here. These are a bunch of A tier or S tier recombinator bases. We'll talk about that in a second here, but I'm going to take you down to the dump tab, and we do one more snapshot here, and it is going to say 247.9. It's a big number. 247.99. Exalts is currently in the dump tab right now, but there's actually going to be a lot more that we have to add in, so let's talk about that. So as usual, we leveled some gems, and the total number of gems leveled was 18. However, 3 of them were not awakened, so I for the entire league I have been counting an awakened leveled, a leveled up awakened support gem. Exceptional support gem would be worth 1 exalt, and non-awakened would be half an exalt, so that's going to be 15. 16 and a half exalts. I'm just going to round down and call that 16. Okay, so basically I leveled up 16 raw exalts. Now, of course, I'm going to be gambling these and double corrupting these, and hopefully on average should be getting a fair bit more out of that than just 1x per level gem. On average, of course, that takes into account some time to buy, temples and all that stuff. But anyway, it's something I like to do. It's an enjoyable aspect of the game for me. So we're going to add 16 exalts in here. So now we're sitting at 263 exalts gross profit. So that's including the awakened enhanced support gems. But we're farming breach this time. And if you go on the trade website and you search up either the 100% increased global modifiers unfractured mod, or the deck stacking mod, you'll see both of them are worth a lot, way more than they were earlier on in the season. In fact, it's so high, I really feel unjustified to call it any less than 2 exalts per 60 sets of breach rings. So we're going to count these 5 grasping males, one of which is actually item level 85, by the way. 5 full sets of grasping males at a value of 10 exalts. So we're going to add 10 to this number there. I think it's perfectly reasonable to include these. It is one of the reasons I chose breach as part of the farming strategy, because it does include some grasping males in the end, and they're worth something. Now, unidentified, you can't really sell them like that. You can sell the breach rings individually if you want, but I prefer to just identify them. So we're just kind of, playing it, estimating, if you will, a little bit, the value of those. Next we have to do is recombinator bases. Now this is a brand new thing, so we'll take a second here to talk about this. I had decided before making this video that I was just going to collect anything that was on my loot filter. And my loot filter, I recently made a video on this. Hopefully you guys checked it out. Basically anything worth 20 chaos at a bare minimum. At least 20 chaos is going to show up on my loot filter as a magic clean recombinator base. For example, something like a vaporizing thicket bow. Okay, so that's a tier 1 lightning prefix on a thicket bow, which is the best base for an elemental bow. So that's just an example of one that's like very low end value. You can sell those for around 20, 30, maybe 40 chaos apiece, especially in bulk. But at the very, very high end, we have something like Exalter's Amulets, which is +1 all skill gem, clean magic amulet. Incidentally, one of them did drop. It is in the highlight. This is basically the best find you can possibly get on account of Cloak of Tom. And so that is a really big deal. Honestly, surprised I only found one. But yeah, that is there. Oh, I almost forgot one thing before we get into the recombinator bases value, adding that up. Also got to count these a couple of small cluster gems. Now, I don't usually count cluster gems, but again, in the spirit of counting, you know, if you're going to count extra things that excellence can't really count, it kind of needs to be a part of the core farming strategy that you're doing. We're putting delirium on every single map. So we're going to see absolute metric ton of cluster jewels drop, and most of them are not really worth considering. You know, I quite often find like the 8 passive skill cold large clusters and stuff. I don't even count those. Okay, they are worth like 10 to 20 chaos. But I am going to count these because you can see that the mana res 3 passive skill 84 plus is worth easily at least 3.5 exalt. So we're going to count this at both of these. They are both the same. One's item level 85, the other 84. They're both over 84. We're going to count them at 3.5 exalts apiece, so that's an extra 7 exalts there. Now, again, I usually wouldn't even count these, except that I'm deliberately putting delirium on every single map, so it's perfectly within reason, I think, to add those in. Now up to 280. Then, I think the very last thing we got to do is count the recombinator bases. So what I did is, whenever I found something like a vaporizing thicket bow, I just simply deposit it straight into my sales tab. Or even something that was worth like half an exalt, I just deposited it straight in. But for everything that is worth really close to a full exalt or over, in some cases well over, I threw those into this tab, and we're just going to count them all at 1 exalt apiece. Now, some of these things in here are worth like way more than just a full exalt, like the Exalter's Citrine Amulet, like a Dictator's Spinebow. Okay, Dictator's Spinebow is like also like 2 or 3 exalts, but a Flaring Spinebow is actually only worth maybe 1 exalt, or perhaps a little bit less. So things will kind of even out. Magister's Opal Scepter, that's 3x right there, essentially 2 or 3x here for these two. The other scepters are worth about 1.5 exalt a piece. You got things like the physical DPS wands, also worth a ton. The Magister's Imbued Wand is also worth close to an exalt. So you just got a ton of different things in here. And, you know, if you want to see and collect items like this, and you want to get a sense of the value, there's no way they can just tell you what each and every single one of these individually is worth. You have to kind of play with it yourself. But you can absolutely download the loot filter in the description down below. It does include the looting for Tom Isley. In fact, be careful, the actual Sentinel portion of the loot filter is set up to deny you sight of any kind of rare Sentinel. I only see magic Sentinels. I don't even get to see rare Sentinels unless they're automatically identified. So it is a slightly different approach towards self-sustaining Sentinels. I used to, for example, see all Obsidian-based rare Sentinels, and I would just ID them all and combine them all anyway. That's not something I do anymore. Now it's a different approach with this cloak. It does make it less time-consuming overall. Merciless Prophecy 1, I mean, there's just a massive find. I mean, this is, again, like 2 or 3, maybe 4 exalt find on here. Okay, so there are a total of 35 separate items in here that are, on average, worth more than 1 exalt apiece. I mean, there's probably at least 40x worth of the combinator bases, but it's important to keep in mind that this is one of the more questionable things to include in the total pricing, because very few of these bases are going to be easily liquidable. Most of them are going to take a day or two to sell at the appropriate price point. And it's because these are the very best Recombinator bases in the game for some of the best, most meta type builds and skills. So they're not going to be the active crafting market for them is not super active because it demands a high level crafter to be messing with like tier 1 merciless combining with tier 1 dictator, combining with tier 1 flaring, you know, and all. I have to get a triple tier 1 physical prefix or something like that. That requires a certain kind of crafter with a certain kind of bank, and those types of crafters are not, you know, constantly buying things flying off the shelf, especially on the back end of the second half of the league. I did hear some comments recently that someone said actually this league has better retention. From an absolute standpoint, this league has better retention than any other league in the history of PoE, so congratulations to GGG if that's the case. It certainly kept my attention. I've had a lot of fun in here. And not because of Recombinators, by the way. I'm just doing my normal thing, really. But yeah, so we're going to count 35 an additional exalts. I'm going to add that in. And so that puts our new gross at 315. Oh yeah, worth mentioning here now as we're going to go into the dump tab. I found a corrupted Mageblood. Of course, obviously that would have been on the the highlight reel. I already sold it, by the way. Sold it for 130 exalts. Surprised it actually sold that high. I expected it to not sell. I honestly had no idea what it was going to sell. I saw some people like posting a few for like 95 to 100x. I didn't know. Mine did have an anger roll on it. Maybe that had something to do with why it was sold for 130. But it was basically the lowest possible rolls I could have gotten. I got very unlucky, but I don't consider myself unlucky because I dropped a 130x item. So it'd be it'd be pretty foolish of me to consider myself unlucky to get a 100x-ish item to just drop off the floor like that. But I did already sell that, and it is not being counted towards this. Now, I could count the Mageblood towards this, but I mean, most people who do these sorts of currency per hour videos, you find a Mageblood, you don't count that, because that actually is like super extraordinarily rare. You could, I mean, you'd have to run. I feel like I would have to run, I don't know, at least 1,000 maps. Just put it that way. Maybe I'm setting myself up for something here, but at least 1,000 maps in order to justify counting a Mageblood into the grand total of pool. Probably even 1,000 maps wouldn't be enough. That's how rare that drop is. I should also mention there is another exceptionally rare drop in here, and it is a mirror shard. Not as rare as a Mageblood, although for me actually more rare, to be completely honest. But I am going to count this. I am going to count the mirror shard in here because for a couple reasons. One, because I didn't count the Mageblood. That's one reason. And another reason, the bigger reason, is that I was using a winged Harbinger Scarab with full Harbinger spec into it. Or like 99% of the effectiveness of Harbinger Atlas passives spec'd in with winged Harbinger Scarabs. Ultra Juiced Harbinger was part of the major farm, so just like you count Cluster Jewels for Delirium, just like you count, I would count, I don't know, blanking out, but, it's league-specific rewards, definitely going to get counted, even if they're very rare, because I am doing that league encounter, so we'll expect these sorts of things every now and then. And so I am going to count the Mirror Shard. It is worth around 30 exalts right now, so if you take any issue with that, you can just, in your mind, you just substitute 30x out of that. We have 2 Apothecary drops. Obviously going to count those. Those are the primary target farm up here. Honestly, I'm a bit unsatisfied with the fact that only 2 of these dropped. I think at least 3 should have dropped. Especially considering a whopping 9 7 years bad luck and 18 enlightens dropped. I had mentioned earlier, I think, yeah, it honestly looks like 7 years bad luck is about half the drop rate of enlightened. And I was under the assumption that apothecaries were up to half the drop rate of 7 years bad luck. But it looks like, at least with this session, they're a little less than that. I can't really imagine, based on so much anecdotal evidence that I've heard from other people, that apothecaries are any less common than a third of a 7 years bad luck. So that especially makes me believe that I probably should have got at least 3, because if I had gotten 3, then I would have 3 7 years bad luck for every 1 apothecary. So I imagine at this point right now, I'm guessing that apothecaries are about 3 times as rare as 7 years bad luck, and 7 years bad luck is twice as rare as enlightens. And 7 years bad luck is well, actually, hold on, here's an interesting one. Let's see my dragon. Okay, so dragon hearts 5. So what could be the case here is apothecary twice as rare as dragon hearts, which is the same rarity as brother stash, which are twice as rare as 7 years bad luck. I don't know exactly what the space is, but that's one of the reasons I'm going to be doing 1,000 Crimson Temple maps in the near future. So just to kind of glance over here, we got 755 Divine Orbs. In the Promenade farm last year, when I was able to put Beyond on the Atlas Kirik bench and get well over 40% Beyond on every map, I had found a little over 1,000. I can't remember the exact number. It was like 1,020 Divine Orbs in 50 maps, doing also a mirrored Delhi mirror farm. So 755 sounds about right to me. I have a fair bit less Beyond on the map. I have about 3/4 of the Beyond that I usually have. And so to find 755 seems about right to me. 20 raw Exalted Orbs. Sounds a little low, honestly. Sounds a little bit low. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but especially with all that Beyond, I would have guessed that I would have gotten, not 1 per map. I don't know. Probably would have guessed maybe 30 Exalted Orb. It's hard to say, though. We got 23 Simulacrum. Surprisingly got around 200 Simulacrum Splinters every map. You'd be surprised that I was able to get that many Simulacrum Splinters. And I'm not even taking all the Atlas passives points for additional Simulacrum Splinters, by the way. But nobody really cares about that, really, because Simulacrums are not worth very much this league, and they've gone down in value even more recently. Tons of Chaos Orbs. That's weird. I found just a few more Divine Orbs than I found Chaos Orbs. City Square was my primary target map because I've been selling those reliably at around 6 Chaos apiece in bulk. So that has been going over very well. So more City Square maps than anything else. People are running City Square and they cannot self-sustain it. So they're running it with Apex Sentinels, I think, and that is a farming strategy. Go Sentinel and Go combined with Apex Sentinel. So we got Exalted Shards here. Oh, I do have an extra Exalted Orb because of Exalted Shards. Bunch of Ancient Orb. That's from all the Harbingers. 5 Dragon Hearts, so that's like 5 Brother Stashes, as opposed to 2 Apothecaries. Or maybe more like 6 Brother Stashes. Brother Stash was always a little bit more common than Dragon Heart. Some Eldritch Currency, some Recombinators. I didn't focus terribly much on the Sentinel rewards. They were very much overshadowed by just sort of the raw juice drops. But Sentinel rewards was a common Sentinel I did run. Yeah. Let's see how many Delirium Orbs I got. Okay, I'm curious about this one. I forgot to check this one before I started. So we got 11, 14, 21, 27, 33, 34, 38, 40, 43, 45. Okay, I just wanted to verify that I actually found more than 1 per average, because I was going to be kind of disappointed if I didn't find at least 1 per map on average. Alright, so that is kind of what the outlook is for all of this. Everything else is just kind of Sentinel reward stuff. So, how long did it take? Well, I timed the runs, and it was always within the range of like 13 to 15 minutes per run, counting all the hideout time, counting all the in and out of the map. And yeah, I mean, I can fully clear a Crimson Temple map in like 3 to 4 minutes if I juice it a certain way, and that's what the 1000 map format is going to look like. But for this one, 14 minutes per map, so that's where we're going to average. We're going to average 14 minutes per map, and we take that divided by 60, and we basically get 11. It's a little less than that, so about 11. Yeah, about 11 and a half hours to do this farm. All right, so that puts me at 11 and a half, so we're going to call 11 and a half. I got to take 15.99 minus 88.44, and that gets the total net profit. And we take this divided by 11 and a half, because it was a little less than 14 minutes on average, actually. And then boom. Okay, very, very close to 20x an hour. Very close. Kind of surprising it was that high. 19.79x per hour, counting the mirror shard, counting the recombinator bases. Let's see, if we take... I wanted to find out one thing. I wanted to see just how much recombinator bases. So the recombinator bases accounted for about 15% of my total profit, and that's also. I should also mention that Sentinels are coming out more favorable for me too, because I'm getting to see them. I'm getting to see their rolls automatically, and you know, I found a couple tier 1 expedition roll Sentinels, by the way, in here. I mean, I didn't really tell anyone about that, but when I went through later and was cleaning out my tabs, there were at least 2 tier 1 Sentinel expedition reward Sentinels. There was all kinds of weird stuff in there, and I already recombinated a bunch of them. I've actually gone through and cleaned out all my Sentinel tabs and decided that I'm not really going to focus on selling Sentinels a whole lot. I do have a few for sale, mainly a lot of Legion ones for people who want to do the Legion on Legion strategies. I recently posted quite a few of really nice Legion Sentinels, Legion rewards, but I basically just combined everything else and turned them into like super premium Sentinels. Got some really, really nice ones, and I'm basically, as the league has progressed and gone on, it's become easier and easier for me to get my hands on very high value Sentinels, and at the same time it has become increasingly more difficult to both buy and sell Sentinels at any price point, really. So the market is really squirrely on this. I don't know what to say about it. I think people are taking a very solo self-found approach to Sentinels League. I don't know how else to call it. The market is just not reflective to reality, in my opinion. But I'm okay with that, fortunately, because it has turned out to be pretty easy, especially with this body armor, to self-sustain Sentinels like this. There is a little bit of time that takes place on the back end of doing this, of recombinating them. Yeah, look at this absolute monster. Primeval Platinum Sentinel with tier 1 Expedition, tier 1 Sentinel high rolls on both of those. Just absolutely disgusting. What would I even sell that for? Honestly, like, what would I even sell that for? There's no way to price that. I have no idea. Yeah, this is also another good one. Yeah, so look forward to even bigger and better Sentinels, and the Sentinel rewards will matter more when I'm in and out of the map more quickly, by the way. So this basically concludes all of the portion where we figure out how much profit was made. Suffice to say, it was about 20x per hour. It's kind of hard to measure all this when you got so many different factors. You got cluster jewels, you got recombinator bases, you got a Mageblood that dropped, not counting it. You got a mirror shard that dropped, but I counted it. You know, I try to do my best on trying to be as fair and representative towards everything. Kind of goes without saying, there was a significant amount of time needed to gather all the materials for this. Kind of accumulated over time 58 modded Corrupt and Beyond maps for this. I didn't really have to pay any extra for those maps. It took me, you know, I had to like parse out all the breach rings, turn them in. I had to figure out all the Sentinels and recombinating those. I had to clean out my dump tabs 4 separate times. I had to buy all the winged scarabs and stuff. So the 20x per hour doesn't actually count all of that. So that's another reason why, on a personal level, I don't think this farm is nearly as desirable as what you're going to see in the next video. Or in some of my more previous videos, like Legion on Legion and the things I've been doing on Cemetery, for that matter. I have now done the double corruption chamber times 17, I think it was. Yes, 17. It was 17. And the results are in. They were good. Got lucky. So I double corrupted some Cloaks of Tom for a personal upgrade. Unfortunately, did not really hit a personal upgrade. The left column here, the ones that survived, And the right column here are the ones, or sorry, the right column are the ones that survived. The left column are the ones that went into a double corruption. As you can see, I did hit a useful double corruption here, but not all that good, not all that useful to me. Probably going to end up trying to sell this. As far as the shield, nothing special there. I think this one's pretty good. 5% block is actually quite useful. And this one's kind of weird. I'm not so sure about this. So all in all, kind of not so great results, I think. Pretty typical. Was really hoping for a personal upgrade like % damage or plus aura gems, something like that on the chest. Did not hit it. The gems, however, where more money was involved, if there will. Very good results here. So I did 17 double corruptions. 5 of them went up out of 17. So the precision, which I hit first, did go up. And precision, if you look that up, a 21 anomalous precision is worth quite a bit more than a 20 precision. Actually, I'm curious, how much is that nowadays? Well, there's one listed for 100 exalts, but I don't think that's accurate. I'm predicting this is like a 30 or 40x, so it's almost in the same neighborhood as Awaken Enhanced Support. It's almost on the similar sort of spread on the value there. Pretty big hit. We got 4 level 5s on the Awakened Enhanced Supports. And then we got 8 that stayed, and then 3 that went down. So very good results. So the average would look something like this, obviously. Obviously, that's exactly what the average would look like. So it's supposed to be 25, 25, 25. So 3 down, 5 up. The average would have been 4 down, 4 up. I got lucky. Nice. So I made a little bit of money there. So I'm going to throw those in here for now. And we're not done with the gambling yet. I do have a few extra little things here, like just Val-orbing these here. Let's see, we got a level 3 Empower Support. This is not worth double corrupting, in my opinion. Wow, I actually hit the plus, or the 4 there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Wow, I got a 6, got a 6 on the Awakened Elemental damage with support. And actually 23% does matter a little bit for this gem. Came out very much ahead on these gems, actually. But the stakes are much lower here. Than the amount of money we're playing with is kind of inconsiderable comparing to Awaken exceptional gems. Now then, not done yet. We still got to do 5 grasping males. So there's a lot of currency involved in these with recombinators, way more than usual. Let's see what we get. Looking for 100% global defenses or the deck stacking mod, and we have hit nothing on the first one, nothing on the second one, nothing on the third one, nothing on the fourth one, and I finally hit something. Yay. Okay, it was on there. 2, 3. So I did hit 100% global defenses. Yeah, on average about 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 4 hit something good there. Let me see right quick what this is worth. Just curious what this is worth right now. Looking at the cheapest one on the trade at around 17 exalts. I know that's pretty active marketplace. So that's 17x right there. And I did price them at 2x a piece, so that was a total of 10x value. It came out to hit 17x right there. And I think you're going to hit on average at least 1 in every 5. So these are not worth anything, sadly. Just going to throw those in the trash. And then there's one last thing to do. We still got to do the beloved stacked deck opening. I'm blind, so it's hard for me to see these. There's not very many stacked decks, as we weren't doing Legion and it didn't have all that many Divination Reward Sentinels involved, but a few. So I guess that's all we're working with here. Okay. Here we go. I gotta say, guys, it feels pretty good to be finishing up with this. This was quite a grueling process this far, making this video. Doing these insane juicing ones definitely take a lot out of you. Not something I would want to do all season long. So. Hoarder. What would you guys rather have, a hoarder or a void card? Guess it depends on how much of a gambler you are. Well, that's pretty bad. Pretty bad on there. But pretty good overall on the gambling. Definitely came out ahead. The only thing I'm a little bit down on is the fact that I did not get a personal upgrade on this. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I actually did double corrupt my own personal chest because I obviously hit one that hit all white sockets. So I subbed that in and essentially got an extra chest back. But nothing of any real value for me through that. So there are a few personal upgrades waiting for me. I'm definitely going to get a double corruption in the chest. And there's some potential rejigging of the gems. I do have to get a double corrupted omniscience as well. I could maybe sub out Whispers of Doom for an actual extra curse on hit implicit, and then put sovereignty or extra stats, more like it, to do that. But everything else looks pretty well done. Oh yeah, almost forgot double corrupting headhunter. Yeah, there's still that to do. So actually, I guess in hindsight, there's still a few things left for me in what I want to do here on this character, which will all probably get done in the midst of the 1000 Crimson Temple runs, which will be the bulk of the videos coming your way for the rest of this league. If you have any questions, please give them in the comments below. I do not recommend this farm for the faint of heart. One last look at the Atlas passive tree, and I am soon going to be reworking everything into a more semi-juiced, high-speed farming Crimson Temple strategy. We'll primarily focus on Harbinger and Strong Box. I will see you guys in the next video.